Okay, awesome. Well, good evening. Welcome to this evening's edition of Transformation Tuesday. I am Asar, your spiritual facilitator for this virtual event. If you're tuning in through the YouTube channel, we welcome you. If you look down inside of the content section, you will find the link that will take you to the website. If you're on live tonight, you can look for the link that's right there on the screen, theplaceofpossibilities.com. You go out there and you can poke around and find out a little bit more about what the ministry is all about. Well, Transformation Tuesday is all about a deeper dive in perhaps a lesson that have taught on this past Sunday, or it may be something that I just feel serendipitously about and want to share for you to you in this moment. We started a couple weeks ago talking about creating the reality that you desire. And so I want to stay inside of that conversation tonight. I want to begin to identify practices that we can take on. You know, a lot of people are hitting and missing, hodgepodging. You know, one moment they're into this, the next moment they're into this. Today we're doing chakras. Tomorrow we're doing Enneads, or we may be looking at the stars, or all kinds of different things. And what I really encourage people to do is to find a system and master it. That's really important. So Oasis Spiritual Center for Divine Living is all about preparing you, equipping you that you can live a life of mastery. What I mean by mastery, I mean that whatever comes your way, in whatever shows up in your life, you're able to deal with it, contend with it, and not try to escape from it. So, Oasis Spiritual Center is about teaching you the principles that if you practice them, it will equip you to be much more intentional, direct, and get the things out of life that you really, really want to get. So tonight I'm going to start teaching out of a book that I have had for quite some time. And the book is called The Reality Creation Technique by Frederick E. Dotson. You don't have to run out and get it, but if you want to, you can. But I want to teach some of the, I may not go through the entire book. I want to just pull out some of the principles that I myself have used, and that if you begin to practice them, you can see the results also. What I mean by results? When we look at religion, for the most part, and even in the New Thought community, we espouse all these highfalutin beliefs, and but I don't see it being manifested. I still see us talking these grand ideas, but slipping back into the same mindset that the world has. And I'm hyper conscious to that. I'm hypersensitive to that. I listen to what people say, and I can tell from what they say whether or not they're really ready. And so they may be desiring to move into that space of new thought, expanded thought, but yet they are still mixing old beliefs and still. And matter of fact, the old beliefs are so ingrained that they just pop up at times when they least expect it. So we have to spend some time, each of us, really going through what it is we believe and pulling that thing down. The scripture tells us to pull down every stronghold. A belief is a stronghold, and pull down every belief and every stronghold that exalts itself above the things of God. What is the things of God? The things of God is the things that you desire. So the moment you identify a desire, the moment you set a goal, you're going to get some contrast, you're going to get some pushback. And so that's that thing trying to exalt itself or to stay established. If you want change, what you're dealing with right now is entrenched, and it doesn't really give up easy. So tonight we're going to talk about reality creation by your personal will. So that's what we want to tap into. So let me take a look and see who we have out here in the on the Facebook community. Good evening. Go ahead and hit like, share, um, pull in your family members and friends so that they can be part of this conversation. V, how are you doing this evening?
Doing well. In the Zoom room, we've got Marcella and Trinity, and then we have an unknown number of
Okay.
516, but happy to have you anyway. So thanks for being here.
That's New York City. I believe that is Ken and Faye out of New York. If it is, type.
Nice.
Okay. Awesome. Good, good. So we got to make some noise. And the way we make noise is those of you who are on Facebook, you got to like, share, put thumbs up, put questions in, make it interactive. I do have a host who is watching that feed and will bring those questions front of mind. So the technique that I want to talk about tonight is kind of is considered a psycho spiritual tool that supports you in creating the life that you desire. Psycho spiritual, so cognitive spiritual. It has to do with the mind. It has to do with the thinking processes. Okay, the technique that I'm going to share with you is answers a question that is often posed to me, and the question being, if I practice only one thing for the rest of my life, what technique should I take on? As spiritual scientists, we're always looking for techniques. We're looking for things that will work, and it'll work if you work it and you work it over and over. And so this is one of the techniques that I have found that I use in my own personal life. Now, even though through the course of my teachings, I share things with you, I don't share maybe some things that I'm creating. I don't share certain things that I use this technique for because it's a personal thing. But at the same time, I'm saying that to say this: we all have to make this personal to ourselves. You don't always have to let people know what you're creating. You don't always have to let people know how a certain thing always appear to be manifesting in your life. So as a life coach, I'm often recommended to my students, people who are part of my practice, these techniques that I want to begin to share with you on tonight. What matters more than the specific method is that you have a full commitment, be all in. And I'm seeing it today that people are in so many different camps, and they're in this camp, that camp, and they're not getting the results because they're mixing the teachings from one camp to another, and that don't always turn out right. So you have to be very careful, and sometimes it's really important to. That's why the scripture says, "Though you have 10,000 fathers, though you have 10,000 techniques, you have no. Though you have 10,000 um, instructors, you have not many fathers." Okay, so what we have to know that you got to find someone that you align with, that is even for this season in your life, that you consider them your guru, your spiritual uh, facilitator, your pastor, whatever you want to do. It's good to have that. It's not that you are lifting that person up, but you know that that person is the container that is filling you up. And so that's really important that you. So you got to find a technique uh, that you're committed to, not nervously jumping from this to that. You got to stay with it. It's like when you go fishing. You don't throw your line out there and after 2 minutes you move your line somewhere else. You really kind of want to kind of stay there. Let things settle in. And what wants your worm will find it. But if you are throwing it over here, you're going to scare the fish off in the other direction. You may be helping your competition out. Okay. You're sending the fish there its direction. The same with this. You don't want to be jumping all over the place. Now, the reality creation technique was created for those who are looking for that one tool. And that's what I want to share with you tonight. We're going to talk about this particular technique, okay? And it's covered in the teachings that we're going to go over for the next few weeks. The reality technique, or it's better known as the RC technique, reality creation technique, is extremely simple and consists of two steps. Yes, two steps only. Many people have a hard time dealing with anything that's simple, but I believe in the KISS approach to like keep it simple, keep it short and simple. When I was in the Navy, one of my leading petty officers used to say, keep it simple, stupid. So I just say, keep it short and simple, keep it sweet and short, keep it short and sweet. Okay, so it's two. The first one is the you state your intention, and then you release counter intention. So what are the two techniques? Yes, you're right. You state your intention and then you release your counter intentions. So tonight we're going to talk about stating an intention and releasing counter intention. So I'm going to take you through some of this. You alternate between 1 and 2. You alternate between stating your intention and you alternate between what? Releasing your counter intention. So you state and you release, okay? And that's all it is. Simple as that. So let's talk about stating your an intention. When we look at stating your intention, that's difficult for some people. Why? Because they, again, 99% of the people will believe that it can't be this simple as stating your intention. Okay. So this teaching tonight will help you grasp the simplicity of this two-step approach. And what are the two steps? That's right. You state your intention. And then the second one is release your counter intention. Okay. So here are some simple examples I want to share with you that has to do with the stating of intentions that you could state. So something you can take on right now. So if you have a piece of paper, you can either write it down or you can just stay with me and listen to this over. It'll be up on within the hour after the class. It'll be on our YouTube channel. So here's some examples of some intentions you can start using. I have the best vacation of my life. I allow myself to make $15,000 a month with these. Or you could say, I allow myself to make $7,000 a month with these. Now, with that particular intention, whatever it takes right now to run your household, start there. Don't say, okay, now my household is ran at $1,200, and now I'm stating that I allow $20,000 to come in a month. That's too drastic of a jump. You're fooling yourself. But start with knowing what comes in right now, and just hold that vibration intentionally. So I allow myself, because I was saying when I was having my private practice for a while, I would say that I wanted $10,000 a month. So I was able to manifest $10,000 a month, or darn near close to it, by just having an intention like this. I always, I use my intentions. I allow myself, whatever number you want to use, to make $15,000 a month with these. Another one, I have a healthy and athletic body. I want you to pay attention to these affirmations or these intentions that I'm stating. See if you can pick up something that I'm stating. I am vibrant and successful lawyer. I am a vibrant and successful lawyer. Okay. Another one. I win the race on Friday. I win the race on Friday. I find that job, or I find the job that is just right for me. I find the job that is just right for me. I allow myself to find just the right partner for this weekend. I allow myself to find just the right partner for this weekend. Okay. Now, the wording I want is indicative of lack. That's what the word says. The Lord of the law is my shepherd. I shall not want. Okay. So the wording of I want is indicative of lack that you don't have. Okay. And it also makes it not permissible, because you says I want. Okay. I will, on the other hand, is no good either. Okay. I want and I will. Neither one of them. Okay. You would think by saying I will have $1,500 at the end of this month. No, according to this technique and the teachings, I will is no good, because it projects the preferred reality into the future. Okay. So we're talking about now thought, bringing things present to right here, right now. Example, I have is good. Well, can anybody tell me why I have is good? V, anybody out there? You could type it in there. You could type it in. Why?
Anybody?
Hmm?
I just called Cheryl message, so let's pick on Cheryl today. Why not? Hold on, Cheryl. I'm gonna unmute you. Good evening.
Good evening. How is everyone?
Hey, Cheryl. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for asking. I say, he said, why is have? Because have is present tense.
Okay, you hit it right on the head.
You're right here. You start back in 1996, $50 a month, and you go all the way through. Here's like you see the 600.
Listen to something else?
By March 20.
Wait a minute.
Okay, good.
There
So
you go.
here's the question: whoever's in the room tonight, in the classroom, and you're listening to something else, I'm going to ask you to put it away because you can't be present to what I'm saying and also splitting yourself with something else. Okay, Transformation Tuesday. Now I'm not raking anybody over the coals, but this is the teacher in me. I'm serious about this. I would prefer individuals that can't be present for this teaching, and I mean present mean just like Cheryl said, I have is present, being right here, right now. It's better to just play the recording back and give your attention to whatever else you're splitting yourself with. And that's part of the reason we have suffered such a difficult time really expediting or bringing the things we want to see manifest in our lives, because we find ourselves multitasking. Let's begin to be present to what it is we're doing. Okay, so now that's not to rake anybody over the coal, but it's just to kind of give you some information that's going to help you, because this is a technique I want to teach you so you can use it and get the outcomes. I don't want to have you say, well, it didn't work. Well, it didn't work because you missed something. You have to be present. I thank you for that, Cheryl. So I have is good. How about this? I am. I am is even better. I decide captures the spirit of an intention and is also highly recommended. So like I have, I am, I decide, I allow. Okay, I allow is a very popular among the practitioners of this technique. Okay, because reality creation is more of an allowing than a forcing. I allow $20,000 a month, okay, to come into my life. Okay, or you can say I allow $20,000 to come into my month. When you make it specific, you open the door for more contrast. And that's okay, because as you master these techniques, you want to be as specific as possible. But as you start out, you may not want to be specific, because the moment you become specific, you really set up more roadblocks, more contrast that you will have to overcome. And if you haven't mastered this thing, you'll find yourself giving up or being frustrated. Okay, so that's important. Now, stick to one of the phrases that I just shared with you and master them. I will is no good. I want is no good. But we are going to use I have, I am, I decide, I allow. I have, I am, I decide, and I allow. Okay, so when you state an intention, it also brings up its opposite. Okay, he goes on in this book and he says that the intentions you choose should go from realistic and close to you in the beginning. So they should be realistic and close to you in the beginning, to more advanced and high up over the years. Notice he says years. It's going to take time for you to master this. Okay. So if you've never mastered or manifested $15,000, you don't want to start with that. And that's one of the things you see happening, like with the old name it, claim it. People will begin to say, you should decree a thing and it should be. Okay. So you're now decreeing $15,000 a month when you know it's a struggle for you to just get $1,200 a month. Just because you decree it doesn't mean something magically happened. Matter of fact, the moment you decree or you set your intentions, the Earth School is going to show up to see how serious you are about this. Okay. If you've never manifested $15,000 by the power of your word alone, he says, or if you even manage it by conventional means, you even work if you put in 40 hours work week and you've never got more than $3,000 for that month. I mean, a month, or let's say you never got more than $600 a week, you're going to have a hard time saying you manifesting $2,000 a week. So you got to ease into this thing. Okay. If you find yourself setting grandiose benchmarks, then it's really your ego. It's really you trying to force this thing into fruition sooner than it should be. Okay. So Earth School is about process, not time, but process. It's about making sure you get the principle and you practice it. Now, I like his example. He says, if you haven't even manifested it by conventional means, then that would probably be too high at a starting point. Start with manifesting $100, okay? By intention alone, simply by intention, okay? Once you've actually manifested $100, move it up. Go to 300, 350, or jump up to 500. And perhaps even try 1,000. But if you're finding you get some frustration, then you turn the dial down. Okay, you're tweaking this thing. You're learning what works for you. What works for you is based on what's your belief system, is based on your subconscious, conscious that you're not aware of. And so you're becoming familiar with, oh, when I do that, that's a little more, that's easier than when I use this number. Okay, now that's important. And he used an example. He says to acquaint your body mind with this new awesome ability. This is why you do this. The mind is easily overwhelmed. Okay. And so don't push it. Easy breezy. You got to go with the flow. Now, here's something I want to tell you. He talks about it in the book too. He says, if you don't want to have any problems in life, don't set any goals or intentions in this life. You want to be like Harry Hippie. Harry Hippie, if you don't know who Harry Hippie is, you might want to familiarize yourself with that. Matter of fact, I'm gonna make a little note here. I'm gonna introduce y'all to Harry Hippie. Okay, awesome. Any questions out there, V, as we move through this?
No questions right now, but Courtney said a very poignant statement. Desperation is resistance and it hinders the manifestation.
Yes.
Wow. Good one, Courtney.
And desperation is the direct result of you're trying to jump into the deep end and you can't even stand up in the shallow end and you don't know how to swim. When you jump in the deep end, you begin to come to the realization that there's no bottom here and I can't swim. And so you begin to thrash, you begin to do whatever you think you can, only to end up killing yourself. So what we need to learn to do is start off small. The word of God tells us, I'm a spiritual scientist, but I am steeped inside of Christianity. He says, the word of God says, despise not what? The time of small beginnings. So start with $50, start with $20, start with pennies. Like most of us don't really realize it, but we manifest change in our life. If you really need some money, what you probably do is start going through the couch back in the old days, or you'll go to, like I have a cigar box that I put change in, and I used to have one of those big water bottles that I put change in, and I had almost $1,500 in the change, one of the big bottles at one time, because it wasn't no struggle to put my change in there, but it would have been a struggle if I would say I was going to save up $1,500. So you got to make it easy breezy. Okay. So if you don't want any problems in life, don't have any goals or intentions. Every time you do form an intention, it automatically brings up whatever stands in the way. Or Abraham Hicks would say, what? Right. Contrast. Every contrast that shows up in your life is the result of an intention or an expectation. An expectation is an intention that has been set, and it has now generated a feeling that we call an expectation, okay? Or a vision that we have of what it would be like or look like when we experience it. So every time you form an intention, it automatically brings up whatever stands in the way, okay? And I'm really serious about this. Um, if you want to be happy, um, V, can you see if we got any questions? And I need to take this right quick.
Absolutely, no worries. Trinity, you just said Harry, Hippie, Bobby Womack. I'm going to unmute you because I want to know what you're talking about. You all got to remember, I'm a millennial. Hold on, Trinity, I'm going to unmute you. I got to know who those folks are. I'm like, what was she talking about? Educate me, Trinity. I just unmuted you. Who are those people?
Okay.
You there, Trinity?
Okay. I'll be.
Sorry, we muted you, Greg. Unmute yourself.
I believe he's speaking about a Bobby Womack song. Is that Harry Hippie?
Oh, okay. Okay.
That's correct. Okay. So
Thanks, Trinity. We are
I,
at 7:29.
here's what I need to do. I need to drop off this call. There's an urgent situation I need to take care of within my job. So you guys have a conversation about what you got so far.
We will.
We want to facilitate that conversation with what has just been stated. What insight perhaps you've gotten from this, what you've gotten thus far, you all. Don't get too far down the line, meaning I don't want anyone interjecting anything other than let's talk about what has been talked about. And so there's a couple of things we can talk about: the differences of I want or I will. You can talk about I have, I am, I decide, I allow. Talk about that, and even give some examples perhaps of how you have seen when you set a goal, you have a lot of resistance, or when you have set an intention, and then we'll pick this back up. So I need to just leave it, park it right there, let you guys handle it. And so V, you can just shut everything down when you guys are through, okay?
That sounds good. I don't mind at all. We are at 7:30. We'll wrap up in about 30 minutes.
I believe Cheryl is on the line.
Cheryl is on the line.
I want you to find the song by the Harry Hippie. And
I have it. Hello, this is Trinity. So I already have it.
Oh, wonderful.
Good. So Trinity, when we get ready to close, I want you to play that song, and you guys just listen to it and reflect on it, okay?
Sounds good. We got it from here. No worries. When you drop off and leave, make sure you make me the host.
Okay, so let me do that while you guys.
Okay. Trinity, we're going to come back to you on that song at the end, as Greg mentioned, but I see Marcella has her hand up. Marcella, let's talk. What's up? Got something on your mind? I typed in the chat box so we can kind of go over for the next half hour. Hey, Marcella.
I dropped off by mistake, so I had to hop back on.
Okay.
And every time I come on, my hand is raised.
Okay. No
Yeah.
worries. Don't even worry about it. It's okay.
Yeah, so
no worries at all. So I'm going to reiterate some things that we're going to talk about since Greg has to leave the call. I want to really dive into I want versus I will. And I think those are really two profound statements. But let's talk about the difference between that. I want versus I will. Anybody care to chime in? Feel free to raise your hand and I'll unmute you. And we can kind of talk about that, and feel free to apply it to your personal life. I manifest things all the time. As I'm growing, I realize how real it is to speak things into existence. It's unbelievable when you speak something to existence, you actually see it happening. So what does it mean? I want versus I will. Anyone interested in tackling that with me?
I'm thinking I want is, it kind of seemed like the same, but I want kind of seems like it would be a desire, and I will is uncertainty. to
So
me.
something that Greg just said that I really want to dive into before he had to leave the call was saying I want is indicative of lack. So saying I want something almost insinuates that I don't have it. So should we not say I want something? Should we just affirm and confirm that I will something? What do you think of
But
that?
when you
I
say,
am
this is
something.
Trinity.
I'm
This is
sorry.
Trinity. When you say I will, it is the will of what you want to do. So when you say I will, it's almost like when we say the prayer of Jabez, we're speaking it into our life. So when you say I want, there's no action behind that. But when you say I will, there's an action to do. When we say God's will be done on earth as it is in heaven, that's a will that we are projecting into our life. So therefore, I will is an action where I want is a desire.
Interesting. I'm sorry, Marcella. I didn't want to cut you off, but I definitely want to hear what you have to say. I'm going to unmute you there too, Marcella.
All right. Every time you unmute me, I have to find my mouse.
Okay, don't worry.
Yeah,
you,
that's a
Trinity.
great analogy Trinity gave. I agree. I agree.
When I say I want something, or when my children say they want something, it's always an option of it not happening, right? Mom, I want a snack. I want to go on vacation. So it's almost as if desiring something versus believing that you already have it is a completely different realm of thought. And that's interesting to me. Do you all find yourself saying I want something a lot that you know there's a possibility that you can't get? Or should we be thinking differently?
Yeah, that's true. It's like a self-discipline
Yeah.
art of thinking, you know.
When we say I will, it almost puts the stake in the ground, is what I feel like. So I'll share this with you all. For the first time ever, over 10 years of being a journalist, I am getting my very first book published. This book project is really near and dear to me, especially after losing my brother, because a lot of it is going to be about trauma in Chicago. And it's not like I want to get this book published. It's like I will get this book. And I haven't even thought of it not happening, you know? Can anybody share a goal of theirs where they know that there will be the results on the other side? You have no doubt in your mind. It's not a I won't, I want. It's an I will. Who's got that experience they want to share? Just let me, I can raise your hand or drop it in the chat and I can unmute you. But I really do find myself often kind of living in the I will. And if you're here with us on Facebook, we're still here. If you're joining us, we're talking about the difference between I won't, want, and I will, and how those things kind of make the affirmations a little different. We got some hands up here. Let me get over here. I see Courtney Bates and then Dorothy Robertson. Let's go, Courtney. Hi, Courtney.
Hi, how are you?
Wonderful. Good evening. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
So, what you thinking?
I don't use I will because it basically means future tense. I will be doing something as opposed to I'm already there. I already have. I will have $20,000. It doesn't say that you have it. It says that you intend on having it or you will have it. And if we're in present tense, then we can't be future tense. You have to pick one. So it's been I use I have, and a lot of times I say I'm thankful and I'm grateful that I have XYZ. I am abundance. I am prosperity. I have abundance. I have prosperity. Not I will have it. It's something that is already available. It's something that's already been created. We're basically walking into it. We're walking into the unfoldment of it. We are allowing it to be manifested and materialized into our experience. So that's all I wanted to say.
Wow, thank you for sharing that. Dorothy Robertson, I'm going to unmute you. I'd love to hear what you have to say. Good evening, Dorothy.
Hi, beautiful. How are you? Can you hear
I'm
me?
wonderful. Thank you. How are you?
Hi, Courtney. Hi, everyone. I will is not good. I do have success. I am very successful in what God has given me, and I do know I will complete my journey. I feel comfortable. I'm at peace with myself. So I do have all of these things.
Good point. I do. And it just makes me think of affirmation. I do that with my children. I will have a good day. I will be safe. I am covered. I am taken care of. Just not even putting the idea of lack in their heads, because when we thinking that we're lacking, we're feeling that we're lacking, we're starting to live like we're lacking. And so thou shall not want, right? And I think that as I grow, I'm moving toward this whole arena of this is mine. I'm going to get it. Is that cocky? I would really love to hear from you all as my elders. Is that conceited of me, or is that a level of confidence?
No, I think that's the
talking-
power coming out of you. That's knowing your power, your
Can you hear me?
oneness.
Can you still hear me?
I can. Go ahead.
Your being yourself is everything. Your makeup, your body, your everything that you have about you is what makes you. And your desires in your mind to have whatever you want comes from you putting, you say, if you take one step, I'll take the other. So if you step out into it, and that's what you want, and you ask for it, then you go get it. But if you shy away, you subject not to have those things that you desire, or like you say, I will. I will mean I will. That means I will. But if you say I have, I know that this is going to be what I have. This is what I'm going to have, and it happens.
But when you're setting goals and intention, how do we then apply this? So again, I'm preparing to write a book. The way that I apply this is I see no lack. I will get an illustrator, easy breezy. I will sell copies, easy breezy. Despite COVID, I will be able to set up book talk, easy breezy. But the other side of me is like, is that realistic? Is it? Or is it right to say that this is gonna happen no matter what, without considering any trial, any error, any lack?
Well, I'll say that the first thing is there will be doubts. There will be negative feelings at times. There will be perceived opposition. But of course, the perceived opposition is always purposeful. But even when that comes,
Purposeful. What do you mean by that? Purposeful.
Purposeful. What I mean by that is that sometimes the opposition comes to expose to yourself where your belief system is. The opposition comes to show you where you are, as far as your beliefs, as far as your attitude, as far as, it will basically prove you. So sometimes the opposition can occur, but even in those times, we're supposed to still combat the negative thoughts, feelings, and, our negative perception of an experience with positive thoughts, words, and affirmations. The positivity needs to outweigh and override the negative. That's one way.
Don't we? Isn't Cheryl Rogers on
Well,
here?
I think that if you go into a thing that you're desiring, and if you're designed to have it, you can't even concentrate on negative. Your mind is already set. This is my goal. This is what I plan to do. And anything that you feel is going to be negative, you're not going to even think it. If you think it, then it comes into existence. So you have to go into things that you say that you want to do with a positive, always one foot in front of the other one, mindset. Because if you don't do that, yes, you can fall back and say, well, if you get to where you feel discouraged, say, oh, I might have some negative or this might happen, or something might pull me back, then you're allowing it.
Right.
You know,
Right.
I have to say that from my personal experience, I don't know anyone who hasn't at least doubted once or twice about something that they were manifesting. I just don't know anybody.
Sure.
And so I just feel like the reality is I'm not as advanced as that. I have manifested great things, and along the way, I might have had a doubt or two, and I just had to work through that. So I've manifested some great things, you know, and like I said, there were times when I was wondering, is this really going to happen? Or not so much if it's going to happen, but like, when is it going to happen? Like, why is this taking so long?
Fine.
You know, it's like I had a knowing that it would be,
Mm-hmm.
but the doubts and the negativity came into, why is it taking so long? And, you know, is it going to happen? Is it going to just, you know, fall apart, or, you know, whatever. But like I said, with me, I just had to be compassionate with myself. I just had to be patient with myself, not really staying in that mode, but when it comes up, knowing that it's there and dealing with it as it comes about.
Right. Right. Tia Atkins reiterated here in the chat that I want suggests lack. And I want to go into that a little bit, Tia. I'm going to unmute you. And if you have any examples you want to share with us, that'd be great. But I want to explore that a little bit more. It reiterates what Greg was saying before he had to go. Are you there with us, Tia? Hey, Tia.
Oh, I think, can you hear me?
I can. Hey, Tia.
Good. Of course, now, as soon as you start hearing me, you start hearing the dog.
Oh, okay.
But
no. Transform too on Transformation Tuesday. Let them on in.
Okay. But as I said, we have to learn to coach ourselves through this process. Okay. So there are, of course, going to be moments where we aren't as confident. Let's not even call it doubt. Let's just say there are times when I may not be as confident. But my personal life, I've used scriptures to coach myself through processes. So there are times when things are looking bleak, and I consistently remind myself, all things are working together for my good. It doesn't promise everything is going to be good. It doesn't promise that I'm going to like everything that happens along the path. But on my journey in this experience, all things are working together for my good. So I'm going to do what I know to do, continue to believe, and know that it's going as I go along. Everything is working together right now for my good. And I may not see it in this moment, but I'm going to know it anyway. When we worry about whether or not we're being realistic, I think that there are a lot of times in the spirit realm where we are functioning that something's always trying to, I want to say this correctly. Something's always trying to rise up. I guess it's like what they said before. As soon as you set a goal, opposition comes up. So as soon as you set the goal that I'm going to, let's make it something simple. I'm going to manifest an extra $200 a month. And I'm going to do it consistently every month. That's my goal. And then as soon as you make that statement, you notice that the car breaks down and needs a part that costs $195. And you think, oh, that $195 is taking away from my $200 goal. Now I'm only $5 toward my goal. But when you make this $195 repair, let's say the car runs so much more smoothly that all of a sudden you're not using nearly as much gas. And what you start to notice is that, wow, I'm saving $25 a month because I don't fill up as much as I did. And ultimately, when you realize that it's all working together to get you to where you're trying to be. You see what I'm saying?
We're working together. What really stuck out is you said that you may not be seeing results. You may not really see the end, but you keep going. That sounds like faith to me.
That's exactly what it is.
That sounds like faith to me.
Right.
Faith. I want to hear from Cheryl Rogers. She always has a good story. I'm sorry, were you finishing up, Tia?
No, I'm fine. Go ahead.
Good. Hey, Cheryl, this evening, let me unmute you. You always got some good messages for us. You there, Cheryl? It's asking me to unmute you. Let me know when you're with us, Cheryl. Meanwhile, if you're following us on Facebook, we're talking about I want versus I will.
Me and Brad were mentioning that, we used to be at the restaurants, and when we showed returns.
Okay, Miss B.
Hey, Cheryl, how are you?
I'm doing well. You want me to say something to the people?
I definitely want you to say something to the people. No, I do.
What do you want me to say to the people?
I really want to stay on this I want versus I will. I think that these are two very powerful statements with very different connotations.
Oh, yeah.
And I would love to explore that. Talk about the I want versus I will. What's the difference?
Because, wait a minute. Are you saying I-W-A-N-T?
W-A-N-T, I want.
And versus
I will.
Oh, because when you say I will, that means your intention is to do that. When you say you want to do it, but you might not do it. You want to, you have a desire to, but when you say I will, your desire goes into motion because you will do it, as opposed to I want to do it. I may want to, but I may not necessarily follow through with the want.
Right. Now, Cheryl, you're a teacher, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Tell me about what grade you teach.
Oh, I teach middle school now, 7th and 8th grade.
Okay. So little people coming into their personality. They're just getting a sense of who they are.
I
got me an 8th grade in here. I know.
Girl, and
coming into themselves, right? Really,
they don't know who they want to be from day to day.
Right.
But okay, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Right. They're learning themselves, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
so how hard is it to teach people that age something that they can't see?
Here's what we do this is how we start our classes. We first have our positive affirmations. Okay, let me go back. When they come to class, music is playing. It's motivational music of some kind. My choice, or sometimes I take requests, but we listening to Lovely Day, Keep Your Head to the Sky, It's Gonna Be All Right, Everything's Be Out. That's what we listen to musically. So then we get 5 minutes of our motivational music, and then we have our positive affirmations A to Z. So they are saying what they are. I am accountable. I am brave. I am confident. I am determined. I am energetic. I am fearless. I am generous. And we go down the alphabet like that. So I don't let them, I don't let them, I only allow them to say what's possible. I don't let them say it's difficult. Nope. You can do this. You can do this or you wouldn't be here. You can do this. Now, it may take some time for you to be able to do it, but you can. And I address them as young ladies and young men, and I present myself in a professional way because that is as it should be.
Right.
And so I require that of them as well.
Good, good. I absolutely love that at that age, that is a routine thing in their lives. It reminds me of that movie. Y'all remember that movie, The Help?
Yes.
Yes, with our girl Viola Davis, her breakthrough role. And
Yes.
just how she told that young girl, you know, she was raising that white woman's baby.
Yes,
And
she was.
And she was telling her, you know, you are smart, you are beautiful, people care about you. Just those affirmations, I think. I am, you know, I think that's so major. I remember just in parenting class, as I was, you know, developing more parenting skills and becoming a better mom for the kids, just teaching them as you coach them to say, I am. Not really, I want to be, or I think I believe, but I am. It's just really powerful. So I'm really impressed that your kids are learning that early. We are about right at 7:55, and as Greg requested, I definitely want to listen to this song. Who had that song for me? Was it Tia? Let me unmute. I'm trying to see. Was that you, Tia, who had that song for us?
Trinity.
It was Trinity. There you go. Hey, Trinity. We're going to get back to you. Trinity, I'm going to unmute you because we love to get that song before we have to go. Hey, Trinity. Let us know when you can hear us. Just unmute you. We want to get that jam in before we go, and we want to reflect on that. Just the lyrics and the meaning of the song. Let me know when you're with us, Trinity. Hey, Trinity. It's not letting me unmute you. All right, there we go. Are you there with me? There we go. Are you there, Trinity? Back here. I'm gonna give you a while to get that song ready.
Everybody claims that they want the best things out of life.
Thank you, Trinity.
But not everyone wanna go.
Here's Harry Hippie.
Thank you.
Can you hear it?
I can hear it. Thank you much.
Like this particular fella walks around.
Turn it up just a bit for us, Marcella.
I got it up as far as it'll go.
We're listening.
Harry Hippie lies asleep in the shade. Life don't bug him, cause he thinks he's got it made. He never worried about one thing in particular. Ooh, he might even say, free breath on sunset. I like to help a man when he's down, but I can't help him much when he's sleeping on the ground. She's Harry's lady, panhandles pennies just to feed Harry's baby. She can write out a story so incredible. Man, you wanna help her take the food off and put it on the table. I like to help a man when he's down. But I can't help you, Harry, if you wanna sleep on the ground. Sorry, Harry. Oh, you're too much weight to carry. Oh, But he still walks around all day long singing this song. Sha-na-na-na, sha-na-na-na, sha-na-na-na. Sleep, child, sleep, child. Tell me where will you be going? When old man Winnie gets his horn and starts blowing, will you hang around early or catch a ride on the freeway? Meet an old familiar face at a new place. And I like to help a man when he's down. But how can I help him if it's somewhere out of town? Sorry, Harry, think I'm gonna do. Everybody help me sing the song.
I hope you all could hear it.
Yeah, that was good. Thank you so much. I really appreciate Tia putting some lyrics in the chat box. If you're here with us on Facebook, we were just listening to Harry Hippie, a song by Bobby Womack. And before we close, we're right at 7:59. But before we close, I really want to break down some of those lyrics and bring this all back home tonight, right? So Harry Hippie, Tia Atkins put into the chat box some of the lyrics. It says everybody wants the best out of life, but they don't want tools and strife. Oh my goodness, Bobby Womack. Tia, would you mind expanding on that a little bit for us? I'm gonna work on getting you unmuted. I hope it works this time because I really love that you pointed out that particular line. Let me know when you're with us, Tia.
I'm back. I'm with you.
There you go. Please, I'm so glad. Thank you so much for pulling out that line. And I'm gonna repeat it before you expand on it and leave us with your last words. Everybody wants the best out of life, but they don't want tools and strife. What does he mean by that in that song?
Well, actually, I had a little bit of a mistype, but what it really is supposed to say, everybody claims that they want the best things out of life, but not everyone, no, not everyone want to go through the toils and the strifes. And I think it's important to understand that sometimes you see somebody and they look like they're an overnight success. What you see by the time they're on social media or by the time they're a movie star, you don't see how they slept in their car. You don't see how they went hungry. You don't see how they were homeless. What you see is they look fabulous now. The scriptures say that the man that don't work don't eat. You've got to work to make things happen.
Yes, ma'am. Yes. Courtney is saying amen and shaking her hands in the chat. We have some really good feedback on Facebook. I love it so much. We've got folks that's saying it's challenging to encourage others. That is Roel Latrice Ware. Thank you for being on Facebook. She says it's challenging to encourage others to speak life to others when we don't speak life into ourselves. And so you're absolutely right, Trinity. Thank you so much for closing out with that. Everybody wants the best out of life, but they don't want the tools and strife. And so bringing this message to a close, when we think about these affirmations that Greg Asar taught us this evening, one of the main things I want us to leave with is the affirmation, I am. I am. Despite the strife, despite the struggles, despite the bumps in the road, I am, I will. Not I want, I think, I might. I am and I will. And that's it, people. As Greg will say, I think our time here is spent. I appreciate you all so much for stepping up to the bat and helping me facilitate when we lost our facilitator. We are one big happy family here at Oasis Spiritual Center. I love you all so much. Thank you all so much. I think this was a great conversation. Thank you, Trinity. Great job to all of you. Thank you, Courtney. Thank you, Tia, for having my back, everybody, having my music. If you joined us on Facebook, you know you can always learn more. I'm going to put it in the chat on our website, www.theplaceofpossibilities.com. Again, www.theplaceofpossibilities.com. I'm going to drop that in the chat right now. And I'm going to end on the note saying, you can, you are, you will. All right. Have that faith moving forward in your lives this week, you all. And we'll catch you back on Saturday for Saturday school at 10 a.m. Check your emails. Go on the website for information. You know the drill. I'm going to type it here. www.theplaceofpossibilities.com. You can see what we have going on here at Oasis Spiritual Center. It is V, your favorite virtual director and your co-host. And I'm sorry that Greg had to go early this evening, but hey, we're here and we're here for you. So thanks for joining us and good night, you all.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Night. Good night, Facebook. Thanks for joining us.